All right, welcome everybody to the Fail Fast podcast. I am Quin. With me today, we have Miha Matlievski. Miha is a fail coach. If you ever heard of something like that, Miha will explain today what that is and why and how he became a fail coach. Miha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and you?
Very good, very good. So we actually had a chat last week because of the things that we have in common with our kind of love for failure per se. Or so how did you get into this?
Well, obviously, first thing was that failure happened to me, and it was pretty massive failure. As I told you, I had four successful companies, and then, there are many reasons why I ended up going bankrupt. So, just to name few, I was not thankful, I was not humble, I was not grateful. And then I thought that I know it all. I was too cocky, too self-confident, didn't go and find the right help or people when I needed it. I thought I can manage it all by myself. And all those events led, and then the financial crisis that hit Europe in roughly 2009 led to what happened in December of 2009, and it was me going from 12.5 million euros, which is, let's say, roughly 13.5 million US, all the way to minus 3.6 million euros, again, roughly around 4 million US. So I lost about 16 million euros personally. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that I ended up owing 3.6. And in Europe, it's not as easy as in the US, where you have your president, Donald Trump, going bankrupt so many times, but his personal wealth was pretty untouched. While in Europe, you just can't do personal bankruptcy if you reach some limitations. And unfortunately, I reached them. So I was not able to do that. And I actually had to repay the whole damn thing, which I'm still repaying a little bit of it. And probably this or next year, I will finally be done with it. But yeah, can you imagine? That will be 10 years after that event. And I'm still working on repaying that money. Wow. But what got me into fail coaching was actually what happened next. So I went into huge depression. I was constantly fighting anxiety, huge stress levels, just darkness within me, darkness outside of me. I came very, very, very close to committing a suicide. And I'm really saying this whole story very quickly. So if you want me, to dive into certain parts, just tell me. It's just that I've retold it so many times. So for me now, it's like a, story, because I'm now well over the whole thing. So, yes. But yeah, I would gladly dive into more, whatever you think is more appropriate for your audience to learn from. So, came close to committing suicide. And then at that exact moment, I got this flash in my head and I found my why. And my why was actually my mom, because at that point, she was only living relative I had. My father died many years ago. My grandparents were already dead. So just quick story, she would lose all her possessions, stay homeless. And that was pain that was even bigger than what I was going through daily, because creating a suicide felt like a lesser pain. I mean, yeah, it would probably hurt at that moment, but then it's gone. Mm-hmm. You're gone. And that felt like almost enjoyable considering the daily pain of depression, anxiety, creditors calling you daily, ex-suppliers, ex-employees, and so on. I mean, those were some huge pains. And yeah, ending it all felt like almost like a pleasure comparing to what I was going through daily. But the thought of my mom losing it all, being homeless, and I was an entrepreneur before. My mom, she was just a bank clerk, so she had no experience in entrepreneurship. And I mean, honestly, how can you repay that amount of money by just working at a job? It's not possible, at least not in Europe. I mean, paychecks in Europe are like, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 thousand per year. Now, can you imagine reaching 3.6 million? No way. So yeah, it was, like just an option to give in and just end it all. But then with all those consequences for my mom, or just buckling up, trying to learn as much from my past mistakes, and then slowly doing steps, and trying to just rebuild the whole thing. Well, not that thing, just build something new. And the idea in my head was like, okay, so you already done it once, I guess it's not that hard to do it again, and with all the knowledge and all that. And by that time I knew how to be humble and grateful and so on. There's no way you can't do it even better. And then the slow process started, because when there's just darkness within you, it's hard to dream. It's hard to set goals. I mean, how can you dream about something that needs a year or two to accomplish, when on the other hand you don't know if you're still going to be alive tomorrow? So it's really hard to dream, to have goals. And so yeah, you just have to do some baby steps, little steps. But it's like train leaving from a station. At the beginning, it goes really slowly. It's gathering momentum. But if you do those constant steps, little steps every day, it gathers momentum. And when train starts going 200, 300 miles per hour, who can stop that train? Nobody.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about starting. That was the hardest part, to just start and believe in something that you almost can't believe that you can get out of that. But I had this huge motivation, this huge pain, this huge why, which was in a way driving me to at least try. And every day, it was a constant reminder, and something that in the times where I had no energy left in me, no motivation, no nothing, would kind of get me going again. So yeah, that was how everything happened. And then it was 4 years of personal development, personal growth, business development. Later on, in 2014, I started a new startup that's doing really great now. Yeah, a lot of personal growth, a lot of personal development, learning from the mistakes that I did, and then figuring out what are some things that I'm not good at, and then either learning about them so that I can handle them, or finding the right people, whether that's a coach or a freelancer or an employee, that could do things that I'm not good at, so that when it all comes together, it will be successful. And so far it's doing really well. And at some point in that development stage and everything, once I got over the whole thing, I was approached by a business school, and I knew somebody there. So they said, well, Miha, would you be open to sharing your story? But the story and the lessons that you learned, because we believe that more than ever now our students need to hear stories like that, because There are way too much success stories out there, and nothing wrong with success stories, but almost nobody, especially in Europe, is talking openly about failure and what that feels like, how to overcome it, how to bounce back. And it was not just failure, it was also burnout and all sorts of things. So, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? The idea that somebody might get some useful advice from all that and that it will help him to actually not go through the same thing was honestly uh, something that motivated me. I mean, I was scared like shit, to go on the stage and talk in front of, I don't know, my first talk was, I think, about 40, 50 people, maybe up to 100. And it was scary. I never went on a stage and talked about those things. And, it was in my country, so people knew me. And it was, oh, my friends will find out and all that. But in the end, I was like, I need to do that. I need to do that. If I can help one person not do the same mistakes or not go through all that, I'm going to accomplish something. And then slowly, other people started contacting me, and there were entrepreneurs who said, hey, Miha, I heard your talk. I can so relate to what you told. I am right now at this stage where you were. Can you give me some advice? Can you just, help me, tell me what I can do so that I don't go where you were? And that's how I started helping people. And then during time, it kind of evolved into, now me having fail coach company, doing coaching, doing workshops, mentoring people, and all sorts, still being on stages. But yeah, for the last few months, I kind of decided that I want to make a bigger impact, and not just in Europe. So I started venturing out into the online world, and yeah, that's basically how we met. So I'm trying to now figure out how to do the whole online coaching, online mentoring courses, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Yeah, that's such an incredible story. I didn't even want to interrupt you because I just want to listen to it myself. I do have a couple questions. So you, just like you said, you're starting to get into the online world now. So these businesses that you had, none of them had to do directly with online. They were not internet.
No. I mean, the four companies that went bankrupt, that was, they went bankrupt in 2009. And one of them was in construction business, a huge construction project, and three of them were in energy fields. Because I don't know, I was always kind of into this energy thing. I mean, electricity and gas. No, none of it was online. And I don't know. In 2009, there was not much going on
Yeah,
online,
exactly.
especially in Europe. And yeah, then the startup that I started in 2014 is again in the energy sector. So yeah, this is my first venture into the online world, figuring out how Facebook ads work, how targeting works, how blogging works, making live videos, podcasts, and all that shebang. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm figuring it out, learning. But this time, I'm learning through mentors, through coaches, people that already did what I want to do, and they are showing me the exact steps that got them from point A, where I am right now, to point B, where I want to be. And yeah, it's everything goes smoother, easier, but of course there are failures on the way as well. And
Yeah.
so every day is a new lesson. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really love it.
So the one of the most important things that I want to know is when you are at that lowest point, when you're even considered suicide, you found your why, which was your mom, and and that kind of stopped you. But from there on, how did you grow yourself to become, free of that? Stop thinking about that and actually start fixing it.
I can tell you that the number one thing for me were TED Talks. I enjoyed TED Talks. Why? Because you have so many TED Talks from people who, I thought that I was in the worst situation anybody can ever be. But then I saw people who, I don't know, ended up being on a wheelchair and things like that. And I saw, wow, they went through even bigger changes, failures, burnouts, and so on. And I was like, and they are standing now there on the stage saying how grateful, how thankful they are for that experience, how that changed their life for the better. And I was like, come on, man. You are on a wheelchair. How can you say something like that? Now I do understand them. But at that point, it was those stories that, showed me that I'm not the only one, that and that people were able to bounce back, and they gave me, like this kind of sort of feeling that maybe I can do it as well. So TED Talks were definitely number one. But I was reading a lot of books. I was going to different seminars and conferences. I was, doing online learning through, I don't know, Udemy, iTunes University, listening to podcasts, and then, hiring coaches and so on. So finding mentors, just you name it. So through learning and practicing, that's a hugely important thing. So you can put a lot of knowledge in your head, but if you're then not using it, doing steps, actually following through, none of that will help. So you just have to do the steps. And it was hard at the beginning, and then it got easier and easier once I saw some results. And then, I was using different techniques, like writing a journal, something I still do, having a gratefulness journal. So I would just write in it every day, at least something that I'm grateful for that day. Then, trying new things and writing to myself about them, creating plans, that circle of life game where it's like a pizza pie, and then each piece is one part of your life, like health and family and business, and then working in all those directions, finding new whys for different parts of my life, and so on and so on and so on. Many different techniques, many different exercises. Mindfulness is definitely a huge thing that can help you a lot. Learning about emotional intelligence, learning and working on delayed gratification, just things like that. And those are now all the things that I teach or help people that I work with, and guide them so that, they can recover faster. I don't, many people say, oh, so you're a fail coach, so you prevent people from failing. And no, I'm not doing that. I just try, I help them see failure in a different way and embrace failure. Because what is failure? You fail when you try something new. You don't fail when you're doing something for the 100th time. And when you're doing something new, you're pushing you're pushing yourself out there. You are going out of your comfort zone. You're trying something new. You're learning. You're growing. So failure is a great thing. Of course, there are failure prevention techniques, like, ask for help, stay humble, and things like that. Because, but I don't help people not fail, but embrace failure in the right way, handle failure, learn failure techniques, and learn other techniques that can help you succeed in a better way. And it's kind of it's when you go into massive burnout and failure, you feel like you fell into a big dark hole. And I like to say that what I help and teach with is kind of like a ladder system, so that you go one step at a time, climbing out of that big dark hole. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's great. I heard something in regards to climbing the ladder. I heard it today, and it's from, he's not, I guess he is some way of a coach, but it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And I heard something today, it's from many years ago, but he was saying, if you want to climb any ladder, but he meant the ladder, he was talking about the ladder of success, you can never climb it with your hands in your pockets.
Yeah.
So that means you got to take your hands out and do something.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned, success stories. Many people view failure and success as opposites.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I see them just like two sides of the same coin. You can't have success without failure, and you can't just fail. Eventually, you will find a way to, not fail and succeed. People fear failure, and I think if you let that fear of failure stop you from living, well, that is the only failure you can do, because it stops you from living.
Yes, that's 100%. The biggest failure, I think maybe that's the only real failure is not doing something because you're afraid it's going to fail. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There was a hockey player that said that you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
So that's right. That's failure right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of the techniques. So, that I learned. So it's no regrets. Live you can't live completely without regrets. But I just try to not have many, and just try something. I mean, what doesn't kill you just makes you stronger. I mean, I know it's saying, I know it sounds corny, but yeah, it really is true. And most of the things won't kill you. And so, yeah, just don't be afraid, try it out. And it's not so much different. I mean, whether it's, I don't know, knocking on a door and trying to make a sale, or stepping up to a beautiful lady that you might like and ask her to go for a coffee, or anything else. I mean, I see that people tend to think that, private life and business life, that they're so much different, but I don't see it so much different. Like I say to people like, oh, you're trying to find a business partner? Just go on a few dates. Mm-hmm. Ask them good questions. Same questions that you would ask your life partner. What are your values? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your priorities? And see if there's a connection. Because if you go in a business venture with somebody who's completely different than you and has different dreams, different goals, I mean, when the money will start rolling in, oh boy, will you have some problems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, you go on a date with your potential business partner. You go on a date with your potential employee. You're going on a date with your potential employer if you're looking for a job. You want to see if the company where you will be working shares some values, priorities, goals that you have. I mean, how can you work in a company that is completely different from who you are? You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be satisfied. You're not going to be motivated. I mean, yeah, is the money, just the money worth putting happiness and everything on the side? In my opinion, no. But everybody is entitled to his own opinion. So whatever it is that drives you and that motivates you and you're passionate about, and if that's money and material stuff, good for you. As long as it really is so. And you're living your passion, your dreams, and all that. I mean, yeah, good for you. And if that changes, good for you as well.
Good. So Miha, earlier you mentioned family, and when this whole situation happened to you, your mom was your only family.
Yeah, I got divorced in that process as well. So yeah,
During
at
that
that time,
process.
yeah. I mean, just the whole business failure, kind of led to failure in everything. Failure with friends, failure with family, failure. I mean, yeah. So my mom was the only thing that was left for me.
Okay, yeah. So the stress, depression, all that caused everything else to
Yeah,
fall after it.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's another one of the consequences of depression and yeah, it's a terrible thing. So out of this, super important is the lessons, of course. What is the main lesson that you learned from all of it?
Well, I I would say two lessons. So one is to always be humble and be grateful. That's one lesson, because if you stay humble, you will be able to realize when you are challenged with something you are really good at, or maybe challenged with something that you have no clue about, so you need to ask for help or find help. So one is humble and grateful, and the other one is obviously how I view now failure and how I actually embrace failure. And now I'm even sad if for a few days I don't fail at something, because that signals to my head like, oh, you're not pushing yourself, you're not trying hard enough. So it's almost kind of feels like I'm slacking off, like I'm in my comfort zone, and nothing's happening in my life, so I don't fail. So yeah, now I'm afraid of not failing. Not afraid, but I mean, that's not a good thing for me to not fail. So I obviously don't want to fail every day and every hour, but every few days some failure, that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. You're never gonna fail on purpose just to say that you failed.
Yeah.
But failing while trying to achieve something is absolutely normal, and that's something that I noticed too. And especially since I talked to you last time, I actually kind of try to notice if I am going out of my comfort zone, because if I am not, it's like somebody said, it's like the definition of being crazy is when you do the same thing every single day and you expect to have different results, right? That's
Yeah, I think that was Albert Einstein who said that. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
and yeah, that's true. Yeah. Comfort zone is the most beautiful place and the most scary place you can be in. I mean, it feels good, but nothing happens there.
yeah,
You're not growing, you're not pushing yourself, you're not reaching for your passions, you're just you settle for life. And in all honesty, I mean, I can't. I need my dreams. I need my goals. I need my passions, and I need to pursue them. That's who I am. That's what I want. I always say, if you take away my dreams and my goals, then what you're left with is zombie. Somebody just wandering through life. My passions, my goals are my motivation. It's what gets me out of bed. It's what drives me, I don't know, like to reach to people like you and go on a podcast, go on a stage. I mean, yeah, am I nervous when I do this? I mean, and I've talked with you before, but of course I know you're recording. I'm trying, because I know I'm from Eastern Europe. I know that I have this accent, and then I know that my vocabulary is not perfect and so on, but it's still that drive that, who knows, maybe one person who is listening and watching your podcast will say, shit, that's happening to me as well. I better stop that now, and will not go into that roller coaster, will not end up thinking about suicide, and will not commit the suicide.
no, that's beautiful that you think that way. And by the way, I actually was thinking that your English is really good. You do have the accent, but you have really good English. It's very
Thank you.
yeah, very
Thank you. Well, you know what? If you live in such a small country as Slovenia with just 2 million people and nobody else in this whole world speaking Slovenian, you just have to learn some foreign languages, or you can just stay in Slovenia, and that's a really small comfort zone. So if you want to travel, if you want to go somewhere, yeah, you just have to learn.
That's true. It's a good thing because I did live in Europe many years, actually 25 years I lived in Europe. And the good thing is if if you go to school in Europe, you will always learn languages. I learned English, French, yes, sorry, English, French, and Latin. So because
Oh,
and nobody even speaks Latin anymore, but you had that
yeah.
choice. You had a choice to either pick religion or Latin class.
Oh,
And
okay.
at the time, only everybody that used to go to the religion class was considered the geeks and stuff. And I didn't want to go that way.
Okay.
So
You wanted to be the cool guy.
yes, exactly. Every kid, I guess that's what they wanted. And uh, anyway, yeah, I took the Latin, but it's a good thing, and everybody learns a bit of English. But I didn't know. So Slovenia's nobody else speaks your language. No
Well,
other.
well, I'm guessing there might be a handful of people. I don't know why they would, but learning Slovenian.
Yeah.
But yeah, then nobody else. And I mean, it's actually one of the most difficult languages because I know. I mean, I think we're the only language that has dual, so it's singular, dual, and plural.
Yeah.
And things like that. So it's not really easy language to learn. I mean, yes, it's Slavic language, so it has a lot of similarities with, just Russian and Polish and all
Okay.
that. But
Yeah.
it's still a language on its own. I mean, uh, people from outside of the Eastern Europe, to them, all those languages kind of feel the same.
Yes.
But we don't understand each other if we would all talk in our mother languages. So usually we communicate in English between us.
Yeah. The same thing with the Portuguese and Spanish, and I speak Portuguese and Spanish, and every Portuguese can understand the Spanish and speak Spanish, but the Spanish will not understand the Portuguese.
I
I
know, I know.
tried that at a restaurant with words that sound just alike, and that they wouldn't catch up.
Are you sure they're not just, intentionally not understanding it? Kind of like,
Sometimes I think that may be the case. Yes, but I tried it at a public place, well, in a restaurant.
okay.
So the restaurant host has to try to, serve you. It doesn't matter what you speak. So, and she didn't understand things that were super similar, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So Mia, um, one other thing. You were reading a lot when you're trying to come out of your depression and all that, and you start reading lots of books. Is there any book that really marked you? Something that you still remember being as a good book?
I mean, there were plenty of good books. I wouldn't say that one stands out too much, except maybe the book that's called Fuck It. And the whole thing is, I mean, it actually holds a lot of Zen Buddhism truths in there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's written for a modern Western person, because to me Buddhism and all that sounded, like almost like some voodoo stuff at that time. I mean, now I'm a huge fan of Zen Buddhism, but at that point, when somebody would say to me, oh, let's go to some breathing exercises or let's do meditation, it was like, oh, come on. I mean, I'm owing money. You show me how I earn money. That's what I want. Don't give me some fucking crap with meditation. How will that help me earn money? I mean, I know better now. Of course I do. But at that time, time. That was my thinking. I mean, everything I was looking for were how-tos to earn money, because that was my idea. I need to earn more money to repay it. But it was actually my mindset and who I am and the energies and all that I needed to change. But, you know, so I was looking for those how-tos. But yeah, that fuck it book was really great, because what it does is you know, kind of puts, I mean, gives you instruction how to be more mindful and just how to let go of things that you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
It's basically that. So I mean, can you do something about past? No, you can learn from it. You cannot repeat the same mistake, but that's it. And you know, and you start saying fuck it to different things. It's an interesting book. I would really recommend it. It's a short book. It's really not long, so it's really a quick read. And it's basically thousands of years of Buddhist teaching into a, you know, like when you have some traditional dishes done in a modern, retaken way. Well, same thing. So yeah, 1,000 years old teachings just prepared in a way that a modern Western person can understand them much better. Because for us, obviously, it's much easier to understand fuck it than to understand the gratefulness or be present or things like that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you mentioned the way you thought about those breathing exercises and how you thought it was like voodoo and stuff. And I used to be like that as well. And
everybody is like that.
And I was just, I used to tell everybody, for instance, my mom meditates. My mom is vegan. She meditates. I mean, she has never been sick. She doesn't get headaches. She doesn't have bad teeth. So nothing ever affects her, right? And I guess instead of just learning from her, I always used to make fun of her. I used to be, so she would be meditating or something, close her eyes. So are you doing your chakra voodoo?
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I was the same.
And it's funny that now, actually just last week on the meetup.com, I joined a Buddhist meditation group, and I haven't attended those meetings yet, but I'm actually getting my mom to teach me finally how to meditate, just so I can, because I know now it will be, you know, it will help me be better, be more focused, and actually think clearer. Because I used to be like you. Well, that's not going to help me make money. Or, you know, doing this is going to help me make money. But then if you're going to do that X to make money and your mind is not there, it's not going to work. You're going to be wasting your time.
Yeah. So, and if you have all that tension within you, you know, you just can't relax. And then, I mean, you know how there is a day when you wake up in the morning and everything just seems perfect, and whatever you touch that day, whatever you try to do that day, everything just really works. Everything clicks. You can't do anything wrong. And then another day it might start bad, and then the whole day goes in that direction. And at the end of the day, you just want to kill yourself. And you know, all these techniques have a lot to do with this controlling this energy and all these emotions, because once you start going in that roller coaster, it doesn't stop, and you need to stop it. And to be able to stop it, you need to say, fuck it, I just accept whatever it is. You know, when I started losing weight, when I didn't give a fuck anymore about so I'm craving a burger right now. Well, I'm gonna go have that burger and I'm gonna enjoy it, and then I'll think about salad for my next meal. But this one, I'll perfectly enjoy. And once I started not thinking about, obsessing about, oh, I need to eat healthy, I need to eat that, I somehow started making better choices.
Yeah.
You know? So, it's strange, but yeah, at that time when everything is going like this, you're just trying to find how-tos on how to go there, and the how-tos are not the ones you're trying to find. That's the whole point.
Hmm. Do you do like Tony Robbins calls priming yourself in the morning? Do you do that?
No, I sleep in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy my morning sleep, and then I have like my morning routine, which is okay, some bathroom time, and then me and my girlfriend, we love saving animals, saving dogs. So we actually have right now 7 dogs of our own, all saved from the streets. So it takes some time, to feed all of them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
take them out and all that. So that's my first morning routine. And after that, I don't know, I have a coffee or tea or I don't know, something like that. And then I just start doing something. I mean, there are a lot of tasks on my to-do every day, but
Okay.
I know exactly which ones I need to do, what I need to focus on. So yeah, then it's time to make lunch because my girlfriend, she still goes to work. So it's time to cook lunch. I love cooking, and it's always super extra healthy because I now enjoy that food, and it's mostly vegan/vegetarian, I would say, with occasionally some fish or something like that. And then in the afternoon, it's mostly more family time, and yeah, like maybe like an interview like this one or something like that, because or because of the time difference. My afternoon is your morning.
Yes.
So yeah, I often go on Facebook Live in my afternoon and so on, so that I catch people when they're awake. And yeah, that's basically it. But I don't make too much fuss about morning. I don't have alarm set anymore. And you know what? I was always uh, the hardest to wake up, and now I wake up by myself at around 7:30, 8 a.m. Even if I go to sleep at 4 a.m. or if I go to sleep
Yeah.
at 11 p.m., I would wake up between that time. And no alarms, no nothing. When I wake up, I wake up.
Very good. Mia, if the people listening, if they only learn one thing today, what would you like them to know? What would you want them to hold with them and learn?
Stay humble and don't be afraid to fail.
Perfect. Mia, if anybody wants to contact you, get a hold of you, where can people find you?
Very simple. Just Google fail coach. I'm what you will get for the results.
Yeah.
Because nobody else calls himself fail coach, so I'm obviously the only result you will get. And then you can just pick whichever social media network you prefer, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and you will find me there. But I do prefer Facebook because I enjoy doing this live coaching. I mean, I just prefer video or audio than writing things. I think in this way I can give much more than in writing. So yeah, if you want to see more of my videos and stuff, yeah, then just find me on Facebook. That's the best place to go search for me. And there are 2 things that I'm trying to kind of create as a movement. One of them is failuresanonymous.com, which I'm just working now to start. There's confession booth, so you can just vent out anything that you want. It's completely anonymous. And then I'm adding now interviews with people who are not afraid to tell their stories non-anonymously. You will be again one of them as well.
Yeah.
I will start probably Facebook Live series on just interviews, just a continuation of those written interviews to
Mm-hmm.
go face to face, like what we're doing right now, and just talk about other people's failures. Maybe just a quick explanation why I do that. I think it's nice that we talk about success stories. They're always nice.
Yes.
But if we look at somebody like Elon Musk, we all know who Elon Musk is. And right now, probably to all of us, it's like, wow, I can never reach that. And I hope one day, I honestly hope that I will be able to interview somebody like him or him and ask him to share his failures. And I'm sure if we would know his failures, we would probably go like, wow, that was really stupid. How could he have done that? I mean, I could do so much better. And then, suddenly being the next Elon Musk doesn't seem like a so awful task.
Suddenly
so that's
he
why,
becomes more human.
yeah, humanizing the whole thing. So yeah, I love success stories and I love fail stories that have happy endings. But we need to talk more about failures, and that's what I want to accomplish with Failures Anonymous. And then for people that want to dive a bit more into it in a way, how to learn and how to grow personally, I created a group on Facebook, the Fail Forward Nation. I mean, it's a small group for now, but yeah, we have like more in-depth coaching sessions there, sharing, and it's not just me sharing. I will be bringing in people with different expertise and knowledge, so that they will add to my knowledge, because I know that I just know like a little fraction of it, and I really want to help people. And if I don't know something, I'm gonna go and find somebody who knows and bring him in the group, so that we can have all that knowledge together. And also group members can, of course, are welcome to share their lessons learned or their whatever they want to share. So it's kind of like a safe place where we don't judge, and we just try to honestly help each other, motivate each other, inspire each other, and so on.
Very good.
So yeah, that's how you can always find me.
Cool. I'm gonna add those to the show notes if so if people want to read this on a blog style and they can go and click on it.
Cool.
Miha, I really appreciate you having the time for this interview. I love your attitude and the way how you stay humble, and it's just great talking to you.
Thank you, Quinn. I mean, it's, as always, wonderful talking with you. Thank you for this opportunity. I mean, I know that each time, like I said, each time that I tell my story, I don't know, maybe it will change somebody's life.
For sure.
And that's just giving me this opportunity, the possibility to do something like that. So thank you a lot for that. I appreciate you, and I mean, I love you. I love your story. Like I said, you will be one of the interviews. So yeah, we'll keep on talking and exchanging our ideas and thoughts on failure. I think we were connected by failure in a way that I don't know. I guess this could be a long-lasting relationship and a really meaningful one.
For sure. It sure is. It was actually failure that got us together in the first place. So
yeah,
that's amazing. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care
you very much.
and enjoy. Bye.
Bye.